Hello, welcome back to another episode of Why Are Comic Books So Addictive? Yes, they are. They are indeed. Um, for those that watch my channels regularly in the past 3.5, almost 4 years now. Yeah, almost 4 years. I talk a lot about artists. I spend a lot of time, a lot of videos. There are more artist spotlight videos than anything else on this channel. So it's not a secret on how much I love the art of this medium more so than the story. Okay, I put the art slightly above. For a long time, the art was way ahead. In my younger days, the eye candy was way more important than the story or the characters. But slowly, as I get older, sure, stories start to matter as well as the character. So it's not 50-50. I still put, still, I would say maybe 60% art, 40% story. Okay. That being said, as I had mentioned many times in this channel, that it's hard for me to enjoy a book with good stories, good arts. No, it's hard for me to enjoy a book that have good story, good characters, but bad art. And the same, if a story, if a book can have beautiful art, but the story and the character is not to my liking, it's still tough for me to enjoy that book. Okay, so there need to be a balance of both, but still, the art is everything. And over the past 30 plus years, I focus a lot of my attention and obsession with artists. And I have a wide eclectic taste in comic book arts. From Frank Miller to Walt Simonson to Bill Sinkovich, the later Bill Sinkovich, the non-Neil Adams clone Sinkovich, to John Byrne, to Neil Adams, to Kubert, you name it. If you can see from just naming all those artists, you can see that there are not one artist that are similar. Um, and for some people, I know some people prefer the clean style of art. Some people like the 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 guy that used 1,000 lines, like Todd McFarlane or other similar artists. There's some people like clean lines. Okay, I am one of those comic book fan where I like all kind of style. I don't really have one style that I'm saying this is mine. I want clean, sharp, bold lines. I can appreciate a Nick Cardy, Frank Thorne, Joe Kubert with the scratchy lines to the more refined line like Bernie Wrightson, and then to the super clean style like say John Byrne, to the jagged style like Walt Simonson. So yes, I like them all. And over the years, I saw a lot of. I'm not sure what the right words to use, to be honest. And this is not a, a, a jab or an insult on the artist, but I saw a lot of artists that are their style mimic other artists. Some people use the word clone, such as say Mike Grell. Okay, Mike Grell is for a long time many people consider him mimic the style of Neil Adams or a clone of Neil Adams. So, like I said, I'm not sure what the right word to use. So pardon me. I'm a fan of Mike Grell as well. So I'm not hating on Mike Grell here. But over the years, I certainly have seen a lot of artists that exhibit similar style to a certain big name. Okay, but there is one that I like more than the rest. Okay, it would surprise many people. There is an artist out there that the first time I saw his art, it blown me away. The first time I saw his art was actually about 4 years ago. Okay, he has been around. This artist has been around for a long time. He's still alive. But I was not aware of his work until about 4 years ago, and I discovered that through the Black and White magazine. No, it's not anyone that most people would think about. Okay, like I said, a lot of people, a lot of people, a lot of people would consider, Bill Sinkovich, Mike Grell, and many other to be, say, the clone of Neil Adams. It's all sort of people that trying to mimic John Buscema, John Romita, even Jack Kirby. For example, the early Storanko, the early early Barry Windsor Smith is trying to mimic or clone Jack Kirby in many ways. Thankfully, Barry Smith went on his own path later and become a great master himself. But here is one that I think most people are not familiar with. And his work resemble Bernie Wrightson in so many ways. And even in some instance, at least in one instant, Bernie Wrightson even worked with him, even ink his work. This book. You see this? Look at the signature. You see the signature right there? VM and BW. BW is Bernie Wrightson. Bernie Wrightson ink this cover. Can anyone guess who the authors of this book is? If I butcher the name, my apology. Val Mayerick. I'm not sure how to pronounce her last name, but Val Mayerick, I think is how you pronounce it. But 4 years ago, as I was going through some of my Black and White magazine, I saw the artwork of one of those magazines, which I will show in another video when I do a spotlight on Val. I was blown away. I thought it was Bernie Wrightson. And then when I look at the credit, I'm just like, whoa, it's not. The art in this book, Bernie Wrightson did not ink the interior of this book, but I'm telling you, for those that take a look at that. I will show more of this book when I do an artist spotlight on Val. Like I said, the last name is spelled Mayerrik. Mayerick. Anyhow, I would love to hear what others' favorite clone artists are. Okay, some of my friends would say Mike Grell is their favorite as far as a Neil Adam clone. Once again, it's not a knock on Mike Grell, since I'm a fan, but for me, it's Val. If you're not familiar with Val Mayerick work, just Google his work. Just Google his work, and you will see samples. And I have a bunch of books. Over the past 4 years, I have assembled as many books of his work as I could, because it is just amazing, amazing. So yes, Val Mayerick is my favorite clone as far as artist clone, because I think he does a wonderful Bernie Wrightson style of illustrations. That is for this video. Thanks for watching.